I'm back with part three of conversations we must have about marriage. And today I want to talk about three things you must consider when you're in a relationship. The first one is upbringing, okay? You want to be not necessarily interrogating, but you want to be paying attention to how your partner's upbringing has impacted them. I need to say something here. If you don't know how your own upbringing has impacted you, it's very unlikely that you will understand that what you're seeing in your partner is as a result of their upbringing. You might put it to, oh, this person is just rude, this person is just, inconsiderate, this person is just selfish. But those are traits that they very likely picked up from home. I'm not saying 100% of the time, but it's very likely that it's their family culture that they're demonstrating. So people that don't apologize, people that find it hard to put other people first, it's it's likely that that is a culture that they picked up from home. So you want to be paying attention to how did this person's home life, or how is their home life impacting them in the relationship. So an example would be something like maybe someone who, like I said earlier, struggles to apologize. It might just be that because it might just be that in their home no one actually modeled that to them. And I mean, if you're an African child, you know that African parents rarely, maybe the younger ones, the younger parents today may do that, but older parents rarely apologized. If you did something wrong, it was your fault. If they did something wrong, it was your fault. Okay, and you couldn't even show that you were upset or you were going to get it. So imagine someone raised in that kind of upbringing. So what tends to happen is that you tend to become defensive because no one is letting you speak your mind. So this person might be somebody who never says sorry, might be someone who constantly wants to prove that they are right. And you might be thinking, oh, this person is so unreasonable, they never admit their faults, but it might be coming from somewhere. All right. Another thing you want to look out for is what experiences have this person had. Um, and I'm talking about significant experiences. So maybe things like sexual abuse from a young age. So maybe somebody that the cousin or the uncle went to live with them, and from a young age, this person has started, was exposed to sex at a young age, and maybe the uncle or cousin continue to molest them until you met them. And that is something that will definitely show up in the marriage. Or maybe the person was raped and now they're associating, you've now married them, they're associating sex with violation, they're associating sex with shame, they're associating sex with pain. And you don't, you're thinking, oh, why is my wife being why is she rejecting me? But you don't understand that something happened to her when she was younger, or maybe even in uni, and now it's showing up in the marriage. So you, in courtship, you want to make sure that you're paying attention to these things, you're asking questions. And I don't mean interrogating per se, but there are ways that conversations flow naturally and it gets to this to the point. But you also need to be intentional because you want to know about this person. Tell me about your childhood, tell me about something that a significant event that maybe changed you or maybe makes you see life. I mean, don't make it seem like an interview. This is just for the purpose of this video, but you want to ask questions about who this person is, what has made them the way they are. I mean, it should flow organically. It should just be natural. And maybe they say something, maybe they make a comment about all men want is sex. You want to, why do you think that, you want to probe a little further, not like you're a police interrogating a suspect or anything, but you get what I mean. Yeah, so you want to find out more about this person before you marry them. Okay. Or it might be your the guy who from a young age was molested, and people tend to think this oh, boys, boys, oh, with boys it doesn't matter, but it does. It might be that this person has now become addicted to sex, because usually that's how um it shows up in guys. So it might just be that the person is now addicted to sex, and you don't even have that information, and then later in life it starts to show up, or maybe even in the relationship it starts to show up, and you're chasing every girl that comes around him, but there is a trauma that needs to be dealt with. um, and you would know if you're paying attention. The third thing you want to pay attention to is what kind of environment did this person grow up in. I mean, there are people who have said, I've heard people say things like, I can't live in a quiet neighborhood. I want to, I want to be able to go down the road and buy roasted corn. I want to be, and there's nothing wrong with that. Each man to, you know, his own. But if you were raised differently and you appreciate quiet, you appreciate greenery, you want to ask yourself, do I want to live in a neighborhood where the corn seller is down the road, the tomato seller is just, next to the corn seller? And like I said, there's nothing wrong with that if that's, if and it might even be that, it's that kind of neighborhood that you start with, but with an eye to something that you prefer, something, a place that you feel like, okay, this is where I want to raise my kids. But if you're you marry somebody who feels at home in that kind of setting, then it might be a difficult situation when later in life you're like, you know what, why don't we move somewhere quiet, and the person's like, what's wrong with this place, and that sort of thing. So you want to be paying attention to things like that. And even though I've just described physical environment, I also want to talk a little about the emotional environment in the home. So, what kind of home did your partner grow up in? Was love consistent? Did they always know what to expect from parents, or was it just this up and down? One minute is praise, the next minute is like you've never done anything good in your life, or maybe parents were always fighting, quarreling, so kids were always on high alert. They were always, hyper vigilant, and just jumpy. All those things will be transferred into your marriage. So when you marry a person, you're not marrying the person that is giving you butterflies. You're marrying their trauma. You're marrying everything that comes with them. So it's a total package. And so you want to be asking yourself, am I ready for this? And that's why it's so important that beyond the, oh, have you eaten today, what's your favorite color, what are you looking for in a man, what are you looking, those questions, like, get real and ask questions that would actually help you see the person that is in front of you. This thing really requires deeper conversations, but I mean, we haven't got all the time. So I'm just going to stop here, and I hope this has really, really, really been helpful for you. All right, see you next time.